Oh, it's recording now. So as well as doing something quite interesting on the emotional, mental level, it also is a practice that is meant to connect you to source. And so it's almost like I've experienced it as like approaching a doorway, and at this interface, actually being able to create a really powerful connection with source that maybe I haven't had in the normal course of things. Well, I have periodically, but this feels like a good one to do that. Okay, so I was just reading from the book a bit about welcoming. So welcoming is intrinsically an energetic practice geared to work at the level of sensation in order to actively imprint kenotic surrender as the innate first response to all life situations. Through its deliberate training in inner softening and opening, the practice begins to lay down new neural pathways in support of that deeper compassionate flow. Call it your own higher intelligence or divine mercy. Kenosis is experienced in and through the act of bringing oneself into a state of unconditional presence. So what's kind of different in a way about this emotional practice is it's not trying to take away the emotional issue that's happening, but it's a practice of being present within that, and somehow that opens like for me quite a magical portal for things. So the practice can be used in two ways. One is for this emotional response, but then it can also be used for those moments where we feel we've kind of triumphed and we feel quite smug about that, like we have won, you know, and we're probably less likely to do it for that, but it is actually quite a good practice for that kind of feeling when you think, oh, maybe I'm sort of edging into arrogance here, or you know, I can feel kind of my ego is attached to needing to win this particular argument. Okay, so there's three kind of steps basically to this. The first is that we welcome in whatever's happening. So say we feel anger or about something that happened in the past. So what we're welcoming in is our feeling of anger, not necessarily what triggered the anger. So to think specifically of, say, someone who's been abused, you're not welcoming that abuse happened. You're just welcoming the feeling that you are having right now to that response. And then we kind of invoke the feeling more strongly. So we'll do that in a sec. We'll like invoke something that's challenging us right now. And this is an invitation just to stay with that. It'll only be for about a minute. But most of us here are very adept at using breath or whatever to move through it quickly. And so this sort of expands and intensifies the feeling just for a minute or so, that you can really tune in to what it's doing in your body, like how it's affecting your breath and tension in the body. And then we go into the releasing. So we begin that with the breath. And then there's some really, I find them really, there's 4 statements. I won't read them now, I'll read them when we're in the prayer. And these statements were developed by someone called Thomas Keating. And they are, the first 3 are the ego or the mind's way of operating So they kind of force you to acknowledge whether any of these things are going on for you. You know, they're very natural things that you'll see. And then the fourth one is kind of really saying, right, I'm not trying to fix this. I'm stepping through this portal. So for me, the part where I felt the really strong connection to source, and it may not happen to us today because we're emulating it, but in the feeling of very powerful emotion and holding it, is when I felt myself almost like at a rock face or an interface with source. And as I do this process, there's a breakthrough into a huge kind of field of peace and timelessness, and the body just kind of relaxes and the physiology all changes, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to think of something that has happened to us that's pretty present, pretty recent. But let's go into like presence and get our breathing in a good place before we do that, and then we'll call that feeling in. Okay, so let's get kind of centered. Feel your feet on the floor, anchored to your physical body. And taking a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Coming into presence. And another deep breath. And dropping into the stillness. The vast energies of creation. The patterns of the universe. So from this place of centeredness, I invite you to invoke or call in or remember something challenging that's been happening. And just let that feeling be in your body. Let it actually intensify in the body. And as you feel it, maybe notice what's happening with your breath. Notice if the body's constricting or becoming more tense. So whatever sensations are going on as you experience this thought or emotion. Just holding it for another half a minute. And imagining yourself at this portal with the source energy beyond our normal perception. opening a door. Our intention is to connect to the source through this experience. And then let's begin to release with the breath first of all, breathing in and releasing constriction. And as you do your releasing process, I'm going to read the welcoming prayer statements. I let go of my desire for security and survival. I let go my desire for esteem and affection. I let go my desire for power and control. And I let go my desire to change the situation. So letting those words drop like seeds into your consciousness. Just noticing if one statement or word stands out particularly for you at this time. And then you may be there already, but dropping back into the stillness. Into the body fully, feeling anchored. And kenosis means emptying out, so allowing this experience, this intensity of experience, just to empty out from the cells of your being. And then just take a few minutes or moments to be in your process.